Welcome back to Mom Talk. And on this episode, we're going to get caught up on Victoria because I know y'all all want to hear how she's feeling. It's been over a month. Six weeks.
It's been a minute.
So, y'all, her last update was when basically she first found out.
Yeah, I think that episode we recorded like 2 weeks after I got diagnosed.
Yeah, because I couldn't even believe you were ready to talk
about
it.
But that 2 weeks felt like 2 months, so it had felt like I'd known forever.
True. Okay, so now, where did we end off with that?
Yeah, so last time I think I was on one medication. I was waiting to start another one. I have started the other one.
Okay.
It didn't really, I don't notice a change, but it helps slow progression. So that's why this one's important. Some people, they say it helps feel better, but it also takes 12 weeks to take full effect.
So did you feel better with the first one before you added?
Yeah.
Okay.
I felt really good with the first one.
Chest pains were gone?
Chest pains were gone within, 6 weeks. Like completely gone, like didn't have any more.
And is that normal?
No. I think most people, they say with all these meds, it takes 12 to 16 weeks for them to have full effect. So you might start gradually feeling better, but I feel like I had a drastic improvement pretty quickly. I really couldn't walk up these stairs to tuck in my kids without almost passing out, and now I'm walking a mile a day.
I love that. You were walking before
weird.
Too.
I was walking before, but I did stop because it did get so hard, and I was like, I'm going to pass out in the middle of my neighborhood. I can't push these 70-pound
kids in your stroller.
No.
So are you allowed to push them or should you not?
So I've done all my follow-ups. I've met with my specialist for the first time. The pulmonologist actually is why I'm walking a mile a day. So when I went to see him, he was like, how are you feeling? I was like, pretty good, because it had been some time.
Wait, is the pulmonologist who you already saw not your specialist?
Yes. So I met him in the hospital when I got diagnosed. He ran, I'm not joking you, 19 vials of blood I had to get drawn.
Right.
At one time, not like throughout the course of my stay. This is one time. He was trying to find, because usually this is a secondary condition to something else, autoimmune diseases, sleep apnea, it's usually secondary. And at my follow-up appointment, he asked if I had seen the specialist yet, which at that point I had not. And he was like, okay, I'll schedule you another follow-up with me just to make sure you have seen a specialist by then. And he said at that appointment, he's like, if she finds out the reason, let me know. And he was like, and even more so, if she doesn't find the reason, let me know.
He's invested.
He's invested because he went on to say, seeing pulmonary hypertension is pretty common. I'm a pulmonologist.
Right. That's his daily.
Yeah. He said, but seeing idiopathic, which means there is no cause, it is not secondary, you just have this, we don't know why. He said that is a once or twice in a career.
So he has probably only seen this
maybe once or twice.
And then, so he needs to know
He needs to know what my reason is.
Okay.
He asked us kind of a generic question to assess my condition. Do you think you could walk a mile? And I just kind of nonchalant was like, yeah. And so then a couple weeks later, I met with a specialist. I think it was actually the next week I met with her. And she was super reassuring. She was like, she looked over all of my blood work, all the testing they had done. They do what's called a 6-minute walk test, which is exactly what it sounds like it is. You walk for 6 minutes and they check your pulse and your oxygen saturation at the end and how you're feeling too. Because your oxygen, that's the weird thing about this condition. Your oxygen can be fine and you can really be gasping for air.
You always send me your
my pulse ox.
Yes, your pulse ox, but I've never even seen it low.
No.
Okay, so it hasn't been low for you, but
mine has not gone low. The lowest mine's gotten is like 96, and that's when I'm walking like pretty fast pace.
Yeah.
Or, I did 10 flights of stairs and it might drop to 96, but that's normal.
So that means you're actually breathing fine, but you feel the struggle? I don't know what this means.
Yeah, so I'm getting enough oxygen. My body is not starved for oxygen. Plenty of oxygen going around, but my heart and my lungs are working really hard to make sure that happens. So I am feeling not well. I feel like I can't breathe because of how hard my body's having to work to make sure my oxygen stays good.
Okay.
So it's a pressure problem. So the whole condition is the blood pressure in your arteries, in your lungs, is too high. Now I have overall low blood pressure, but my lungs are jacked up apparently when it comes to that. So, yeah. They're just trying to slow the progression because it is a progressive disease and The earlier you catch it, faster you can slow it, better
So
the
can
outcome.
you, I know you can't reverse it. Can you stop it totally from progressing or?
Assuming I live to be, let's call it 70, 80, it will eventually progress. It's a matter of how long can we hold it off at each stage.
Okay.
And there are new medications coming out. One's coming out in April, and that one has shown signs of reversal. Not even just stopping progression, but like reversing what damage has been done.
I mean, that's crazy. Like, there's something new coming out they haven't even tried yet, and you are still doing well.
Yeah. So I did ask my specialist about that new medication when I saw her, and she was like, we are so far from that. She's like, they haven't even really studied it in people with as mild of condition as what you're exhibiting.
So you probably wouldn't even need it.
She said no. She said eventually one day it'll be a great tool to have in our bag if we did get to that point, but not right now.
And so you killed the 6-minute walk test.
Oh, I killed it.
Yes.
So my pulse stayed at 88 we'll call it, and my oxygen stayed at 100.
And so did you get a gold star?
I mean, pretty much. No, so there's also this scale, I forget what it's called, but it's a 0 to, I want to say 5 scale, and you pick how you're feeling, because like I said, your oxygen can read 100, and I can feel like crap. Mm-hmm. But I did not feel like crap. I did not feel the slightest bit winded. Now, keep in mind, I'm walking up and down a flat hallway inside an air-conditioned building. There's no humidity. Like, if I was outside, it might be more difficult. But I killed the 6-minute walk.
And do you like your specialist?
I do. She was really reassuring. And I don't know, you've met doctors who are arrogant almost. Mm-hmm. She's not that, but she's very confident. Okay. Like, you can tell there's a confidence in what she's doing.
What she knows, what she's doing.
But she was very nice, very reassuring. I had a list of questions before I went, and she answered them all before she got to the end. Like, she came in, she's like, this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. She's like, this is looking idiopathic for you, so it is looking like the more rare one as of right now.
So you have the rare one, and that means they don't know where it came from.
They don't know where or why.
Okay.
Sometimes it's easier to treat it if it is secondary, because if I have sleep apnea and we treat the sleep apnea, my pressures would get better. Mm-hmm. This one's a little harder because there's nothing, they have to treat just this, which you would think would be easier, but it's not, because they don't know why it's happening.
So do you think that's why it could be hard to diagnose too?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
They're looking for all these things, but there's nothing else behind it.
Yeah. So she's like, I'm going to go ahead and call this idiopathic. She's like, we do still have some tests we can do and things we can check out. She's like, but we've done a lot and it's looking like it. Okay. So she went ahead and formally diagnosed it as idiopathic.
Okay, so how do you feel about that? You were leaning that way, right?
Don't Google it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't Google it. I do still have more testing like DNA, RNA. I don't really know what all these things are or mean, but she's going to make sure I don't carry a gene that could pass on. Okay.
So when is your next appointment for that?
January 11th.
And will you already have the results? Or is she going to do all that stuff then?
We're going to do it all then.
Okay.
And she came in the room and she was very reassuring. She was like, went over everything. Hey, this is idiopathic. She did say they estimate about 10% of idiopathic cases, it's actually something hereditary or gene mutation related.
Okay.
They just don't know what gene or what to look for yet because they're still researching it so heavily.
I feel like this is like a brand new...
I don't know.
I know people have had it for years from you.
Yeah.
Your research.
Yeah.
But they're just still going so much into it.
Mm-hmm. We had talked about what Google says the prognosis is on the first episode.
The overall theme is do not Google.
The overall theme. Mm-hmm. And she was like, most people want to come in here and talk prognosis. And I was like, you read my mind. I was definitely going to ask you when I'm dying.
I mean, how could that not be a question, though?
I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
No.
But she was like, yeah. She was like, so you're very mild. All your blood work's reassuring. You're not in heart failure. I feel confident. Like the cardiologist had said, I feel confident your heart will go back to normal size. And function is great as is, even. So,
and do you believe all that?
I did.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you should. I just know sometimes we overthink everything.
Oh, I do. But like I said, she had a confidence about her that I was like very reassured about. And she was like, I'm not telling you to go live out your bucket list at all. She's like, live your life normally.
Yeah.
She said that exercise, lungs in motion, stay in motion. So she's like, it might be uncomfortable. You might not feel great, but it's not going to harm you just because it doesn't feel good.
So that's when you picked up your mile walk every day.
Yeah. So after that, I was like, well, I told this one doctor I thought I could walk a mile a day. And you just said I should be doing something. So why am I not?
Yeah.
So now I do. Every day. Sometimes it's fine and I feel good. And sometimes I'm like, man, I really do have this condition.
So you can still notice sometimes.
Yeah. On exertion only. Honestly, I couldn't tell you before everything happened. If I was walking like I currently am, I have a very hilly neighborhood.
Right. And we weren't taking into account you had this before. So you can't compare.
No, I can't compare because it's not like I've ever been one to love exercise in my life. Right. I've never wanted to work out or even, walk necessarily. Mm-hmm. So I probably would have been winded to some extent my whole life doing this.
True. We have that in common.
And Jarrett likes to walk with me. He pushes the stroller because I think that would be a little too much at this point.
That's a lot.
So he walks with me and he pushes me.
Okay.
He's like running up the hills. And I'm like,
no.
well, I don't think I can do that or ever could do that. Like past or present or future.
We weren't doing it before.
So he does push me, but I think it's good. So
yeah,
I don't know what a regular mile time is for walking, but Jared, of course, does.
Oh, yeah, he's trying to beat it.
Mm-hmm. So the other day we did one in like 16 minutes, and I guess like 15 to 20 is normal.
Okay.
Or average or whatever. And these are not leisurely walks, let me tell you. We are booking it, I feel like. And I'm like, my legs are kind of like sore.
Yeah.
He pushes me, but it's fine. I check my oxygen when I get home. Nobody told me to do that. I'm just crazy and do that.
Right. We need to check in.
But yeah, sometimes I'll take it like on the walk, like when I do a hill and I am super winded, I'm like, Jarrett, do not talk to me because I cannot respond.
Right.
And the kids are trying to talk. I'm like,
Does
Mommy.
it make him nervous or does he know you're okay?
He knows I'm fine.
Okay.
He also like knows CPR and stuff, so I really don't think he's caring too much. But like on my Apple Watch, there's different zones when you do a workout on there. Mm-hmm. Zones 1 through 5, and it's based off your heart rate, I guess. And Jarrett can, bless him, he can never get to zone 3. Like he's maxed out at zone 2. Like his heart rate won't go above whatever zone 2 is.
And it's supposed to?
Well, I mean if you're in shape, it probably won't.
I was going to say, that's probably better.
Yeah, but my pulse is like 178, and Jarrett's looking at me like, are you okay? Like that's where he gets concerned because his heart rate, that's like zone 4, I think, or 5. And his won't do that.
Okay.
Like even in a house fire.
Oh, he's good.
We're still at zone 2.
Okay.
And that's everything you need to know about him in a
a
nutshell.
That is him.
So, like, the hardest workout of his life, we're not breaking 130, 140.
I mean, he is and has always been in shape.
For no reason, though.
Yeah.
It's not like he works out all the time.
He's natural.
Yeah, anyway. So that's when he gets concerned. Is when he's like, your pulse is literally 180. Are you okay? I was like, I can't talk, but I'm fine.
But I am good to go.
And sometimes it's weird because my pulse will be that high and I can talk.
Is it just out of nowhere? Like while you're sitting down?
No, it's just when I'm exertion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No SVT anymore. When I had SVT, that would happen to me.
I remember you checking it at work.
Yeah, because I'm like, man, it feels a little funky. But no, it's not like that now. Now it's just when I'm doing stuff.
Okay.
But the specialist, she told me, she's like, don't live out your bucket list. I can't give you a prognosis because the meds have not been around. Pretty much what all the other doctors said. Mm-hmm. These meds are relatively new in the scheme of medical things. Don't Google is one thing she told me, like every other doctor. She said that, there's new ones coming out all the time. There's research going into this all over the place.
So you're in a much better place mentally.
Oh, yeah.
Now.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it does still get to me. The support groups online are great. Mm-hmm. But then every once in a while, I will see people who are younger than me who are going in for their double lung transplant.
That would be hard.
And I'm like, wow, you are 23.
That's crazy.
And then, like, some of them, it's a double lung and heart. And I'm just like, I'm 30 now. Mm-hmm. And, like, you're 7 years younger than me having to do that. So it is scary how fast it can just turn on you and progress quickly. Because some of these people have been fine. And then just, bam, it just takes hold.
Right.
So that is scary. But overall, mentally, yes, I'm better.
And how was it, like, getting back into your old routine? Because you had to take off work.
Yeah, I took off work for a long time. I mean, all the follow-up appointments and phone calls. I mean, you were over here. You saw.
Yeah, I was like, if it's not mental, then you just need to be off to make phone calls.
It was constant. It was all
Yeah.
day, every day for the first few weeks. And then after that, I needed to be in a spot where I could come back to work. And like everybody is good intentioned, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed to be able to not burst into tears when anybody asked a question. Or like anything.
Any advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just needed to not be able to burst into tears because I am typically not a crier.
But.
So I wanted to kind of maintain that.
Mm.
And I just needed a second. Plus the meds, one of the meds I'm on, they wanted to make sure I didn't have like, some people get super anemic. Some people have really bad swelling and fluid retention, have to be on, diuretics for that. So making sure all the meds worked for me was
So you didn't have a reaction with the second one?
No.
Okay.
I did have some like abdominal pain, which can happen.
From the med?
I believe so, because I stopped it for a couple days and they ran some like labs and stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it causes abdominal pain for me.
So.
But it's not pain. I don't even want to say pain. It's
like a dull
discomfort.
Ache?
Maybe.
So the meds aren't bothering something inside of your stomach. It's just causing.
It's just causing me to be uncomfortable.
Okay.
So, I mean, like they said, they told me, if it takes this long for it to fully take effect, expect it to take that long for your body to get used to the side effects from it too. So if it takes 12 weeks to work, expect about 12 weeks of side effects. Anything after that.
Okay, so the side effect could fade is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant just get used to it. Like it'll just be
I
something
mean,
else normal.
It can have to become a new normal.
Okay.
But it can also subside or I'll get used to it. So I don't know.
Well, I'm hoping for subsiding.
Me too. But you know what? So I'm not against holistic approaches to anything.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Obviously, the meds I'm on, I am thankful for, and they are not holistic at all. But marshmallow root. Have you ever heard of marshmallow root?
Never.
Okay, why would you?
But I love it.
So apparently it does so much stuff.
What else did you tell me you were using? Turmeric?
I got some turmeric essential oil, yeah.
Okay, yes, tell me.
And Mason, tried to put that on his lips, and then he came out of my room. He was like, my lips burn. I was like, from what? He was like, from my sandbox. I was like, you've been inside all morning.
Yeah, try again.
He was like, and I had told him, not even 5 minutes earlier, don't touch this.
Oh, so he had to.
And he went to Jarrett first, actually. He didn't even want to come to me.
Yeah, he had to touch it, Victoria.
And put it on his lips.
I don't know why we put it on our
literally-
lips. Does it look like a balm?
No, it's in a little oil bottle. I was like, he was messing around with the bottle trying to get the cap off. I was like, hey, don't play with this. It's kind of like medicine. Don't use it without mommy or daddy.
Mm-hmm.
Not even 5 minutes later.
Okay.
And I told him, I was like, it could hurt you. I was like, it's an oil. It could burn your skin. It could, I don't know if you're allergic to it.
Right.
And so he comes out. He's like, Daddy, my lips burn. And I'm like, oh, I already know.
You know.
I already know. And that one was actually oregano. I got turmeric and oregano.
Oh, yeah. I've heard oregano is really burny.
Yeah. So he comes out of there smelling like some spaghetti or something.
Yep.
And I'm like, I know what you've done.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you smell like the spice cabinet? So, yeah. I haven't used those yet, but I've heard so many good things I went ahead and had them on hand.
What are we doing with them?
So far, nothing, except trying to keep Mason away from them.
Okay, I didn't know if we were cooking.
I'm not doing anything with them just yet. I just, like you said, oregano does it all.
Oh, yes. So I have had that one before.
Mm-hmm. It's like anti-inflammatory, fungal, bacterial. It kills it all.
I remember it was the one that you had to dilute, in which you probably are supposed to dilute all of them, but the lavender, I was like, well, I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, that's me and the peppermint.
Yes.
This is going to be cold.
Exactly. But I got scared of the oregano.
Well, you should.
Yep.
Mason can let you know.
I feel bad for him.
His lips did fine. They weren't super bad, but I was like, dude, learning the hard way.
I was going to say, he found out.
But guess who hasn't touched it since?
Yep. He's not going back for more.
See, Remy, I can just say don't touch it, and that's a done deal.
She doesn't care.
No, Mason, we got to learn for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's the marshmallow doing?
So it actually helped the pain from the medicine.
Okay, wait, what is it?
I really don't know.
Whip,
it's
oil?
a pill. I'm taking a pill.
Okay.
It's in a veggie cap. It's just, I don't really know what a marshmallow root is. I really didn't know marshmallow was anything other than the white little
thing that's probably bad for you.
s'more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it really does help. I tried everything. Because I didn't know what the pain was.
Yeah.
I tried ibuprofen. I tried Tylenol. I tried everything I was allowed to take.
You did your acupressure mat, right?
Yeah, I did acupressure mat. I did yoga, some stretching. I tried upping my hydration. I was like, let me cut out coffee for a few days. That was short-lived, trust me. But yeah, I really did try some things. And I've been gluten-free for over a year. And
That's
I've
right.
kind of slacked off. But I got really strict back on. I was like, maybe my stomach doesn't like gluten now. I don't know.
So none of that.
None of that helped. So then I was like Googling. And it said marshmallow root. First of all, it had a million things that it does.
That is so... I'm going to have to look this up.
It just soothes your GI tract.
Okay.
But it also has respiratory benefits. So I don't know if it's actually helping my breathing or not. But I'm taking it.
We're going to
There
try
were no
it.
contraindications with my medications or my condition.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm taking it.
Yeah.
But when I took it the first time, it helped my abdominal pain within 30 minutes.
Okay, yeah.
And nothing had touched it for like 6 weeks.
So has it still been helping?
Yeah.
Are you taking it every day?
Yeah. I don't take it every day. I take it when I feel the pain.
Okay, well that makes sense.
And yeah, it has been helping.
Okay.
So I do like the marshmallow root. But yeah, the specialist, everything was good there. I see her again January 11th. When I was there, she asked if I would be open to research studies.
Oh, right.
Because it's at Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
And, they'd be out there researching.
I think that's so amazing.
I do
that
too.
You can be a part of that.
Yeah. So I said yeah. And she's like, okay, cool. I'll give your information to our research coordinator. She'll reach out to you if you can even be eligible for any of them.
Okay.
Because I'm not severe, and a lot of them look at severe illness.
I mean, that makes sense.
So I did get an email from her, spoke to her, the coordinator, and I am now enrolled in a few.
And what do they
research
do like when
studies.
you go?
So it's different for each one. So I went to one last Monday, and it was an echocardiogram, which is an ultrasound of your heart, blood work, urine sample, and that was it for that one.
Okay.
When I go to my specialist appointment in January, they're kind of combining and doing as much as they can while I'm already there. So it'll be another full day at Vandy.
So it'll be follow-up appointments plus.
Plus, yeah.
Okay.
And my doctor is one of the head researchers on this particular study. So part of it is a physical exam, like listening to me, seeing if I have any swelling, heart, lung sounds, all these things. So she'll be able to do that at my appointment. And then I'll have more blood work, 6-minute walk test, pulmonary function test, abbreviated lung functions. It's a laundry list of tests.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But they're not invasive. It's literally like blowing into a machine and a blood draw and pee in a cup. I mean,
Right.
It's very simple
Very
stuff.
doable.
And then one of the studies I'm in, it hasn't been scheduled yet because you have to be on medication for 3 months before you are eligible. But
Okay.
they've gone ahead and enrolled me. I will do a cardiac MRI and an MRI of my legs once a year for 3 years.
Okay, that's what else I was going to ask you is how often are your appointments now?
So the specialist to see me for like med checks and see my progress and stuff, right now it's every 3 months.
Okay.
I will have to have an echocardiogram done by her at some point. And then the right heart cath, that was terrible for me.
Right.
I do have to do that again next summer.
So is that a yearly thing?
I don't know if it'll be a yearly thing every year, but I know 2024, I have to do it in the summer.
Ugh.
I do know that already. So, hoping for a better experience.
Yeah, I didn't even want to bring that one up
I know.
because I know you told me you'd have to do it again.
I do have to do it again. I'm not looking forward to it, but you know what? It'll be done at a different place, which I thought the place I had it done the first time was great.
Right.
They found it. It was a great experience. It's not their fault my blood pressure was low and they couldn't give me the loopy drugs.
Mm-hmm.
That is not on them at all.
Right.
It was just, I'm an anxious person to begin with, and that was nerve-wracking. To be
Yeah.
awake while they were wiggling a wire in your heart, like, I was not a fan.
No. At least now you know going into it.
I know what to expect. It's kind of like with the C-section, like that first one, you're just
Yeah.
like, you don't know what's happening. And then
Right.
the second one, you're still nervous, but you at least know what to expect.
Yes, that's a little bit better.
Yeah. So, and it's going to be a different place. Maybe my blood pressure will
Be
cooperate.
acting right. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's the only true way to get the pressures to see if the meds are working.
Okay.
So echocardiogram can do an estimate of pressures, but it's not reliable. So when I had my echocardiogram, it showed my pressures were in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want under 20.
Oh, okay. I see.
So my pressures were in the 80s on my echo, and then they did the right heart cath, and my pressure was 36.
I see. That's
So
a huge
That's
difference.
a big difference. That's like severe to mild.
Right.
So that's why we have to do the right heart cath.
Okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, if my pressures have gotten worse, there are other options as far as medication goes. Some people do an IV pump.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, you're constantly hooked to an IV. You have like a It's called a Hickman line.
Okay, that makes me think of like a port.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
And you just wear your meds.
Okay.
And get like a constant little dose of what you need.
Mm-hmm.
There are other, inhaler options. There are other oral options. But a lot of people, do some time on IV at some point with this condition. And a lot of people don't.
Okay, so not everybody has to.
Not everybody has to. And some people now, too, they get on the IV to get their pressures under control. And then they're able to transition off of it and onto oral meds.
Okay.
They just want to really get those pressures down.
Okay.
That's not my case, but it does happen. So if ever I end up on an IV, it's not that I'll be on it forever.
Okay. I won't freak out.
Don't freak out. I will, but don't.
Well, I can tell you feel better.
Yeah, I do feel better.
Mentally and physically. I mean, I know, like you said, there's definitely still some times.
Yeah, like if I get two in my head, it does freak me out.
But I feel like you're motivated. You're doing your mile.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you're back at work.
I'm so happy to be back at work. It's like some normalcy.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Some adult interaction.
Adult interaction out of my house. And, I thought I was just going to have like this super clean, organized house because I had so much time off. And then I was feeling better and I was still off work.
Right.
But no, I got lazy.
I mean, how are you going to do the same thing like
I was
that
like, those dishes will be there tomorrow when I'm here tomorrow.
Exactly.
Like, so the routine is much better for me.
Okay, I'm glad.
Yeah. I thought it'd be harder, but it's not.
And again, I mean, everybody missed you, so.
I mean, I did miss everybody.
I'm glad you're feeling good enough to be back.
I kind of like was hard on myself. I'm like, why am I not going back to work sooner? Because I was working without medications when I felt terrible. So why now that I'm medicated and feeling better do I need this time? But it was all like mental. And then the doctor really did want me to wait with the
make
meds.
sure the meds were fine.
But yeah, that was hard in a different way.
Yeah.
And then, I have still been struggling. I think one of my biggest struggles is honestly, like, since I have been home and wanting to organize, getting rid of all the baby stuff.
That's definitely, I mean, I don't know if you've even fully still processed your diagnosis, but that part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll pass, like, a picture or something with a baby, and then I'm like, it makes me think of you.
I mean, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, I think of you every time because I'm like, that's just so unfair. I don't even know if that's the right word.
I mean, life's not fair, but it does not feel fair.
Yeah.
And, I was pretty sure I wanted more.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I prayed for an answer, and it doesn't get more clear than being told you're going to die if you have one.
I mean, you definitely did get a clear answer.
I got a clear answer. You don't get to choose how or what the answer is.
Yep.
So it's clear. But no, it is hard. And I mean, even like the other day, somebody called to book a prenatal massage.
Right. It's the little things that just keep reminding you.
They keep creeping in. And I am happy for these people because you never know what's going to happen in their lives. They could get the same news. They could get worse news. You never know. So I'm happy for these people.
Yeah.
But it is still hard.
I know. I'll be scrolling the reels and I'm like, oh, that's funny. I'm like, oh, I can't send that to Victoria because I don't know if you're going to think it's funny. I don't ever want to upset you, and I'm thinking of you too.
I mean, it is hard, but I also know I'm not the only person in the world. I'm thankful I got 2 kids. There are plenty of people in these support groups who want kids so badly and already have this diagnosis.
Right. That would just be...
I mean, I cannot imagine. So I am more than grateful for my 2 healthy. I have a boy and a girl. Like, I mean, I could not be more blessed in that aspect. I am so thankful.
Yeah.
Because between endometriosis and this, I had a very short window, I feel like, to have kids.
Yeah, you had a lot stacked up against you.
And I still have 2. Like,
yeah.
You don't get more fortunate than that.
I mean, if we're spinning it, then yeah, that is...
So I really do try to spin it because I can make myself sad about it.
Of course.
And sometimes I just am sad about it. But I let those be short moments because I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. You've got your 2 healthy babes.
I've got my 2 healthy babies. And I'm more thankful than I am sad.
I mean, I think that's the only way we can be, or we would just be depressed all the time.
Right. Which, I mean, I don't think we've ever talked about this on here either, but I am not the only one who got cut off on kids.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted more kids too.
Well, yeah, it's just a different way. So I feel what you're feeling, but I don't want to feel that way because I could have.
Yes.
I got the option taken away from me after a divorce, but I could have
met someone new.
Just gone on down the street and found somebody else.
Right.
Really not that easy, but Yeah, makes me more sad for you because I feel like you were at the time where, I mean, I feel like you were ready to have another kid. I know you were.
I was not ready at that moment, but I was approaching the time where I was ready.
Right. Like you knew you were getting your health in order.
Yeah.
And then I could see the end of that and you having another baby.
Right. Because that was my word for the year was health.
Yes.
So I was going to get my health right and then have a baby.
Yes.
But getting my health right meant no more babies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think no matter how you get cut off, there's like a mourning process.
I mean, I was at the same point. I was ready for another one.
Yeah.
Henry was 2. I would have had 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just felt like everything that comes along with that. I know there's absolutely nothing wrong with having half or step children and siblings. I know they're a blessing, but that was something I needed to think about. And do I want to do that with my kids?
Right. What do you want your dynamic to look like?
Yeah. Yes. And then I just got to a point where I felt like my kids need me so much on my time, I couldn't add anything else.
So it ended up being for the best.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm sure mine will too.
Of course. But like you said, it just takes time to
mourn that you don't get what you thought you wanted.
Right.
Yeah. No matter how it comes to you.
I think I'm always like that in my head. Like, oh man, this would be so nice. But I'm so happy and I'm so blessed. But it is true. I just don't want to live in that state of what could have been.
Right. You have your moment, but it's like a 30-second moment and then we're moving on.
Yes, because then you just look at your kids and they're so
all
good.
Gone.
Yeah.
Well, and I remember even Amy at work, she was talking about how one day in the shower, she just started crying because she realized she was closer to like grandkids than she was to having babies of her own again. And she knew she was done. She made that choice on her own, and it was still hard. So I think no matter if it's your choice, not your choice, there's like a mourning period when you're done having babies.
Yeah, when they get past the baby stage and you're like, man.
And you know, Remy just turned 3, so I feel like I'm there.
Yeah.
I mean, I know she's little, but she's not a baby.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I've talked to some moms that are like, oh, I'm absolutely positively sure, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, they can be. I just wonder if they even ever have a little
even
feeling.
If it's not in that moment, like years down the road.
I talked to a mom friend, and she has 2 boys, and I feel like they were probably Emma and Henry's age when I talked to her about this. And she was like, we wish we would have had 2 more. Like, thought they were done.
Yeah.
And she was like, I wish we would have had 2 more. That replays in my brain
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so to recap, my health is good. Oh, my cardiologist.
Okay.
I had a follow-up with my cardiologist, which he is the one who actually figured this out for me.
Dr. Honeycutt?
Dr. Honeycutt.
That we love so much.
Love him so much if you need a cardiologist. He's the one who figured it out. The attending was going to send me home at the ER that day. Like I had already been done twice before. Mm-hmm. And he was like, no, I will take her, put her in the cardiac tower of this hospital. I got it.
Yes.
So he's the one who figured it out. And honestly, I say saved my life. And I know that sounds maybe dramatic, but if I didn't get diagnosed till I was in heart failure, he definitely improved my quality of life.
Yes, we love him so much. And his team.
Yeah. I mean, his nurses were great. Everybody was so great. So I had to follow up with him, and he hugged me, 27 times.
That is so sweet.
He was like, you just look so much better. He listened to my heart, and he was like, if I didn't know you had pulmonary hypertension, I would not know. He's like, I have no suspicions just based off your EKG today. Like, my EKG looked good, which is, he was like, that's crazy. Like, it already looks so good. Your heart sounds good. So that was really nice to hear. And
that is really nice. And you got to see him again.
I did get to see him. He did release me. He's like, I'm going to release you on a PRN because you're not in heart failure. Nothing's wrong with your heart.
So you don't need him.
I don't need him. But he's like, I'll keep you on as an existing patient if you ever do need anything.
Okay, good.
I'm like, okay. He's like, even if it's like 5-6 years down the road, let me know.
Okay. I
was like, okay, cool. Hopefully I don't. But if my SVT wants to sneak back up or anything wild,
then we have it.
And I mean, I just wish I could go visit you, honestly.
I know.
Can I see you once a year?
That's how I was like with my kid's pediatrician.
Can I just tell you thank you once a year?
Yeah.
I'll just come in. I mean, I cried in his office.
You should send him a Christmas
card. And I am, again, not a crier.
It's just a safe space.
I was like, you literally like saved my life. How do you say that to somebody and mean it and not cry?
Right. It's going to be emotional.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, I could literally still be walking around passing out at the top of my stairs and not being able to play with my kids.
Yeah.
But he made that possible.
Right.
So how do you not cry?
Yeah. He's getting all the emotions.
Yeah. So I had a good follow up with the cardiologist. I don't think I've mentioned on here though that I am in therapy now. Like I have a psychiatrist and like a talk therapist, if you will.
Okay, so did anybody like recommend that you should do that, or you just?
So the way it actually all went down is I thought I was going crazy. I thought my anxiety had just like really gotten out of hand. I'd been told twice at the ER that was the case. I was like, man, because anxiety can manifest as like shortness of breath. Your heart feels, chest pain, it feels palpitations, all the things I was experiencing. All my labs were coming back normal. I'd been checked out at the ER twice. I really thought I was like having some mental issues. So I got on a wait list for a psychiatrist. And in between the time I got on the wait list, she actually called and I was able to make an appointment. In between waiting for my appointment is when I got diagnosed.
Okay.
So it was actually really helpful to already have somebody in place to help process after. And the psychiatrist was like, yeah, let's get you hooked up on some medications, especially those first few weeks.
Right.
And she recommended talk therapy, and I think that's been helpful in like trying to process everything that's going on.
Okay, I feel like that's really good.
And I'm just, again, glad that I already had been on a wait list and gotten an appointment.
Yes.
So that had almost immediate help. Because, I was on the wait list for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really did think I was losing my mind.
I mean, you knew something was wrong, but after you're turned away twice, it's just like, what can I do?
I was turned away twice, and I was also still seeing my primary care at the time, and he was checking out, other things like hormone levels, and, he had a chest CT scheduled, and all these things that would have hopefully eventually gotten me to the same diagnosis.
Right.
It was the more scenic route, but, it's not like I wasn't checking into it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I have these people to help me. And
if you're giving advice to somebody like yourself a couple months ago, is there anything else you could be doing? Or you feel like they're on the same path?
Everybody feels wildly different with this condition. So somebody can be in mild condition just like me. Somebody can have better numbers than me and feel really way worse than me. It's so circumstantial. But push yourself mentally and physically, I think. As long as it's safe. Obviously, if your doctor says don't do it. I'm not a doctor.
Right. But for you, that's what's...
But yeah, for me, the doctor gave me the all clear, so now I'm pushing myself.
Okay.
Which, I like to do that in life anyway. I feel a lot better, but I don't know how much to attribute. I think a lot of it, my physical symptoms being better, like I feel like I can breathe and my heart, I don't have chest pain. Obviously, those things are going to make you less anxious when those go away. But I don't think having somebody to talk to who's a professional hurts.
No. And I seriously love the Facebook group for you.
I do like the Facebook groups. I know I've talked a lot about how great they are, and they are great, and there's a lot of great people. And, there are some scary things on there, but again, it's so circumstantial. You can't read one bad post and be like, doomsday.
I just feel like overall you've got somebody you can connect with, because I can't think of anybody else that I even know that has this.
Yeah, no.
And
I don't know anyone who has it.
I feel like that's what everybody wants, is somebody they can
relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I've private messaged with several of the people in the group, and everybody's very supportive because I think everybody feels like they're in the same boat. And everybody kind of has, not a mentor, but I don't know what word to use for it. But they find these people.
And you connect with them.
And then I've had a couple people reach out to me now, and I'm like, oh, I'm brand new too.
I'm new.
And they're like, that's fine. I'm not diagnosed yet. I'm still in the process of getting my diagnosis, but I'm pretty sure, and my doctor's pretty sure I have this. Talk to me about it. And I'm like,
yes.
Okay, well, I owe my experience to you because somebody else has done that for me.
Exactly.
Now, it's odd to me that you're picking me brand new. You might want someone with some years under their belt. But also, like, one girl found me and my pressure was 36. Hers was 38. Like, she's like, I feel pretty good except when I do stairs, when I'm doing this, that. And I'm just like, okay, true. Like, you want someone who's similar.
Right.
One girl was like, hey, not to be creepy, but I, stalked your profile. I think we might be the same age. We both have young kids. So I get wanting that connection.
For sure.
And it is rare. So to find somebody who has it, who is in a similar walk of life of you too.
Yeah, I feel like that's my favorite thing for you.
Yeah.
It helped you, and now you get to help.
Pass it on.
Yes, I
Just
love
passing it on.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everything's going good. And research studies, I don't do anything else until January. So I'm kind of just like on a pause till January, letting medicines do their thing.
Okay.
It's one of those things where I feel like you should be looking at me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to like let
Let
meds
them work.
do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
So just chill until January.
Okay.
So we'll do a little update then, I guess.
Okay. Well, I loved this update because I
Okay.
feel like it was really
It's a good one.
positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already subscribed, you can do that on Spotify or the Purple Podcast app, and we will see you next time.
Bye.